Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Good morning and happiest of Wednesdays to you. This is Run It Back. We've got Lou, we've got CP, we've got Boogie, we've got me. What is wrong with you?
He just stole my pen right when we said action.
This is not a rehearsal. This is real. We have real games last night, 2 of them. That first one though, goodness gracious, you can't start the season out with a double overtime. That's ridiculous. Poor KD. It was great. I actually loved it. The big banner, that was not right. The banner raising happening in OKC, full house. It was loud. It was raucous. And just as predicted, the Rockets, most of them, were not out there watching things as they happened. But let's get to it. The double OT thriller was a 125-124 final for y'all. SGA finishes with 35, 5 and 5. Chet with 28, 18 of those first half. Şengün with 39, Durant with 23. The Rockets had 21 turnovers. We can get to all that. But, you know, I know there are going to be a lot of people today. It is fun to sort of start to speculate already. It's just one game. How many takeaways can you actually have? But, Chandler, perhaps a Western Conference preview. I know we're 19 months away, but let's go ahead and do it.
I mean, it's early, but both these teams are really, really good. And I think they're both going to win a lot of games, and they both do so many things dynamic. They both have the capability to be really, really good defensive team. Houston, with their length, they can go to that zone. And I don't know if it was early on with, you know, just trying to give a different look, or it was when Şengün got in foul trouble, or it was when Reed Sheppard entered the game. They were kind of trying to hide him a little bit because they were attacking him and trying to expose him defensively early. But both these teams are really good. They're extremely talented. You kind of saw the full package of Şengün last night. And then on the other side, you just see OKC, they struggled and they didn't shoot the ball great, and they still find a way to continue to play hard, continue to get buckets. And SGA, when it mattered, came up huge for them and kind of sealed the deal. But both these teams are so good, and I think you're going to see them at the top of the standings all season long.
Anybody disagree? Anybody take something else away from last night? Was there something we missed, perhaps? Lou?
No, I thought both teams looked really good.
Good.
You know, obviously it's night one. Both teams are going to make adjustments. It looked like, to me, you know, Ime Udoka was probably trying some things out on the defensive end, just seeing what he has, and he has the luxury of doing that. He got a lot of talent, got a lot of size, so it looked like he was throwing things against the wall to see what sticks, what works for that group. But as you can see, OKC, after getting over the championship hangover and being celebrated, they got back to business and they look like the team of themselves. Even though Jalen Williams still wasn't on the floor, they look good.
I agree. I mean, overall, great opening night. Great performance from both teams. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better, you know, opening game. That being said, obviously OKC is, you know, still the top dog in the West. But, you know, I think Houston's going to make a lot of noise this year. It's a few things I think Houston has to fix, and the most glaring thing is obviously with Fred VanVleet being out this season, they're missing a point guard. They need a vet PG in the worst way. I kind of tweeted that out last night. I think that's part of the 21 turnovers, and, you know, I think this was a very winnable game for the Rockets down the stretch. But you couldn't get the ball to your best player on the floor, which was Kevin Durant.
Right.
There's no way he ends the game in the last 3 quarters of the game with 3 shot attempts. So I think that was the most glaring thing. Obviously, the second option in Şengün is incredible. I think as of right now, he's playing himself into a top 3 big in the league right now. Unbelievable performance last night, but they got to get a PG, and you got to have the ball in Durant's hand at the end of the game.
Yeah, and think about it. Their offense, it was a little sticky early, right? Like, it was Thompson getting downhill, and he was great. For the first time seeing him at point guard, I think he did what he had to do. It was weird OKC wasn't pressuring him early. If I got a guy playing out of position, I don't know why they're not just picking him up 94 feet, kind of making him uncomfortable. But I think you're right. I think they need to go more 2-man game with KD and Şengün. Get your best 2 players in the most action, whether that's pick and roll, whether that's elbow action, whatever it is. They got to get those 2 guys in the mix. And there's just not a lot of shooting space on the floor. So when you look at when you got Eason, Thompson, Steven Adams in the game, it's just Şengün and Durant out there that are they're kind of scoring, shooting big. So they got to find a way to get spacing and more movement, like we saw in the second game with the Warriors.
And they fell in love with the 3. Like, we made a big deal about the lineup. That was one of the tallest lineups that the NBA has seen since the 70s.
It was visually crazy at times.
And they shot a bunch of jumpers. So if I'm gonna be a team that's gonna be that size, I gotta put pressure on somebody at the rim at some point if I have so much of that. I think they fell in love with the three early. They had success with it early, and it was kind of fool's gold. It kind of tricked them into playing a jump shooting game. Obviously, we know OKC has a lot of guys that can play that way. That's how they got back in the game, was three-point shooting. And so when you're going tit for tat with a team like that with so much size, I don't think you gave yourself the greatest advantage. But like I said, with all of that said and done, night one, I think both teams look really good going into this season, going into a long stretch of games. I think we'll see a better and better Houston Rockets team after that.
I agree.
And think about how this game, like, Kevin Durant had some costly mistakes. I don't know if we're gonna.
Yeah, we are about. Yes,
we're gonna get to that, but like,
sure.
The Rockets could have easily won this game, and they put themselves in the position this game. They led most of this game, so there's a lot of takeaways from them. There's no reason to hang their head again. It's one game. They showed a lot of resilience from OKC, but Houston had multiple chances to get this game.
Well, would you like to break down the final sequence in the second OT?
Yeah,
that's a moment that also occurred. The SGA KD matchup is there, and SGA gets him to go for it. There it is.
It's easier said than done. This is what SGA does. He is a magician with drawing fouls. KD's just got to be better than this. He had the missed free throw early, descended to overtime. He had this bad foul. And then honestly, he got away with trying to call a timeout there when they were out. But this is just, you got to just be more disciplined, stay down, make him hit that long fadeaway jump shot over a 7-foot guy. But this is just a mental lapse.
6'10". He's 6'10".
You also in that situation.
He's shrinking.
You also in that situation want to push him right. Obviously, his rhythm is going left. That's where he's most dangerous. It's similar to how Lou Will played the game. His whole rhythm was going left. So in that situation, I mean, obviously it's easier said than done, but. In that situation specifically, you want to try to get them right, going right, and pushing them to the help middle.
I got scorer's mentality, so I want to give credit to SGA. When you got a deep bag and you're elite in the mid range, and you can shoot the three, and you're one of the best ISO players in the game, Kevin Durant got to respect everything that I'm gonna do. And so he didn't bite on the first one, didn't bite on the second one. SGA finally got him on a spin move, on a fadeaway that it looked like. That's a shot that he can make, and Kevin Durant had to respect it, and he got him off of his feet. So I think that's job well done on SGA's part. It was a great move. Got Kevin Durant to bite, and you got one of the best players off the floor.
Talk to me, like, watching that, right? Because you said everything. It's KD, and he still went for it. So I'm just thinking, who's harder to guard at the moment than SGA one-on-one?
Harder to guard?
Sure.
Nobody.
Then SGA?
Nobody. I would put Jalen Brunson in there because, when we're talking about ISO basketball, we're talking about guys that is going to go one-on-one and probably going to leave that scenario with a bucket. Like Jalen Brunson is one of those guys that he's going to put his back to the basket. He's going to put a lot of pressure on you. But SGA can do it from all spots of the floor. If he played with his back to the basket a little bit more, who knows what'll happen. And I've seen him post up a few times in this game as well. But if you look at these clips right here, he's elite in the mid-range. And he's going to play at his own speed. You can't speed him up. You can't make him change pace. When he was struggling on the offensive end, he went out and got 2 layups in a row just to see that ball rolling. Now when you see that ball going in, now that opens up everything else. So I don't know a guy in the league that's better in the ISO position, 15 feet away from the basket, better than SGA right now.
Yeah, he's just so good in the mid-range, and he's mastered kind of the stopping on the dime, and he has a, unbelievable ability to kind of create space without pushing off. You never see him kind of extend and get the offensive foul. It's always just a little sudden movement, and he's kind of mastered that. There's a lot of great, like Luka is impossible to guard. Wemby with his size is impossible to guard. But when you look at like a pure one-on-one game, I don't know who's a harder matchup than him. And think about last night. I was thinking he kind of struggled last night. He settled a little bit. He was 12 of 26 from the field with 35, 5, and 5. And, he didn't play great.
But a lot of that was early, though. A lot of that was early. He was filling it out. And I thought he settled for jump shots. And again, once he started going downhill, we got to figure out where his turn downhill came from, by the way.
It makes no sense.
Do you guys want to not use it anymore, or are you okay with it?
No, I like it, but it doesn't make sense.
All right, then let's give it up.
Yeah, we don't have heels. It's flat. But anyway.
Great point.
Straight court.
It's true.
But once he goes downhill, that makes the game dangerous. Guys starts helping in. That opens up the three-point line for other guys to be successful. And you got to respect all of it. That's what makes him so dangerous.
And he's not going to go 1 for 9 from the three-point line, often.
I think he's scary. All the preseason interviews where he's talking about, I have so much more I can improve on. I think he's scary. I think he's going to be scary for a while. Obviously, Jalen Williams is going to still be out recovering from the the wrist surgery, and you mentioned Chet already. Did have a heck of a night last night as the number 2. What do you see as his ceiling?
Oh, man, this kid has so much potential. And obviously, you know, it gets overshadowed, you know, being alongside Shea, which is understandable. But this kid has so much talent. It was on full display last night. And he did his thing. He was a great second option. He hit big shots for his team. He was a force on both ends of the floor. Obviously, you just saw the turnaround, a move that he learned from one of his mentors in the summer, which is Kevin Durant. But this kid has a lot of potential. I mean, his ceiling is unbelievable. So, I mean, he's a talent, and he showed it last night.
And it's just the two-way.
Like all-star good?
Yeah,
absolutely.
This year, all-star good.
Absolutely.
All-star good, all-defensive NBA. Like, he's got that kind of game. And he, by the way, he's the one that kept them alive and in it early. He got off to the hot start.
Oh, he had like the first 9 points.
Quick 15 points. Like, he was dominant earlier. And you can see, I was talking to Boogie before, like, I don't see crazy improvements on his body, but it's there. You can tell the way he was finishing yesterday. Like, he's put on muscle, he's put on strength, and he's finishing better. He looks like he's in much better shape. So I think the dude's going to have a great year, and I think it's kind of a blessing, too, for him to have Jalen Green out right now, or Jalen Williams out right now, to kind of have this confidence to kind of play that two-man game with SGA and kind of be that second fiddle to SGA while Jalen's out.
I like the maturity in his game. I like where he's going. Like, he took what the game was giving him. We just looked at those clips. One, he's in a dunker. One, he's posted up. And third, he's at the three-point line being a spot shooter for this team. Take whatever the game gives you, no matter what your size is, no matter what your position is on the floor, just take what the game gives you. If the defense is going to allow you to shoot the three, shoot the three. If they're going to put a smaller guy on you, make him pay in the post. And I love the fact that Chet was able to make adjustments and keep this team in the game until SGA got going.
Let's do some grading, Chandler. Other than the fact that OKC, the defending champs, that was the big part of the night. The other huge story was, of course, KD. And it seemed like early on, all right, we got KD. And then I don't know what happens as we get into that fourth quarter and those overtimes where he takes the 3 shots that you mentioned. Like, what are we giving that for a grade?
I mean, we know what happened. In those type moments, you need that floor general to get everybody in their spots, have everybody, you know, comfortable on the floor, and to lead the team in those type moments. And that was the most glaring thing for me in the game last night. They couldn't get the ball where they wanted it. They struggled to get into their offense at certain points in the game. And, you know, I think that leads to why Kevin Durant only had 3 attempts, you know, going down the stretch. So,
but that's the only reason? Yeah. Like, there has
I think that's one of the reasons. Obviously, and you also have to credit OKC's defense. They did a great job pressuring them all night. So, obviously, that's, you know, one of the things. But for me, if you have a real PG in those type situations, I think you get, you know, the shot opportunities that you want, and you get the ball exactly where you want.
I think he has to get out of the flow of the game mentality, right? Like, we've seen him say publicly, I'm playing the game the right way. I'm Kevin Durant. I can go out and go get 40 and 50 when I want to. But he's trying to play the game the right way. He's going in the flow. He got to break off some of these plays and tell him, damn it, give me the basketball. Throw me the basketball and let me go get a bucket. This is Kevin Durant. 16 attempts, not enough. Like,
it just feels weird.
Yeah, he got to get 20 shots at the rim, and I think some of that has got to come from him just demanding that basketball. Nobody is going to stop him free throw line. Like, who's going to stop this right here?
But look at that crowd. Look at the spacing.
Spacing is bad, but again, 18 feet from the basket, nobody can guard Kevin Durant. So I want to see him every once in a while tell everybody, get out the way, throw me the basketball, and let me put pressure on some of these guys, and let me be a top 10 scorer in the NBA's league history instead of allowing the flow of the game to determine how many shots I get.
The Rockets are a deep team, quite possibly the deepest team in the NBA, but they lack shooting, and which is going to naturally lack, you know, spacing. And again, this is early. This is one game. Oklahoma City's defense is phenomenal. They're going to be a top 5 defense, so we can also credit them. But they shot 11 of 39 for 28% from 3, and Sengun, I think, had 5 of those. So they didn't shoot the ball great. Teams are going to live and die with letting the Easons, the Thompsons, those type of guys take these shots. So they're going to pack the paint. They're going to double team. They're going to throw blitzes at KD. They're going to have to find different quick hitting actions, different two-man games with Sengun to kind of free him up and let him go early. And also get stops. You're a great defensive team, and play fast. Get out in transition and do what you do best. Use that length. Use that athleticism. Don't just get bogged down and play in the half court.
Also, I'm just not a fan. Obviously, with, you know, the Rockets, they're experimenting with this, you know, this really big lineup. But I'm also not a fan of Steven Adams being up the floor.
Uphill?
Uphill. But him being up the floor, obviously, the last clip we showed with Kevin Durant hitting the tough mid-range. But it's so overcrowded, and Steven Adams isn't a threat from that position in the floor. He's most productive down the block, you know, being the force that he is down low. So having Steven Adams up the floor in those situations, I also think hurts Kevin Durant and, you know, getting to getting to the spots that he wants to and getting to his money spots. So I think that's something that Houston has to figure out down the stretch.
Yeah, and I think that will come, right? It's, again, it's just 48 minutes, play faster, play quicker. Keep continuing.
And they didn't play bad.
Pound teams on the glass. Like you have an advantage on the glass. Dominate the glass every single night. And again, they lost by 1 point on some mental mistakes at the end of the game. They could have won this game against the defending champs.
And but also, in regulation, Sengun gets the last shot. I respect that.
Okay.
In the first overtime, you got Jabari Smith taking the shot. If I'm Ime Udoka, I have to find a scenario where I put the ball in Kevin Durant's hands to get a shot up for us to win a basketball.
Absolutely.
Let's talk Sengun. 39, 11, and 7.
See, Boogie, I'll take that guy shooting.
Like that.
One of them.
No, I'm totally fine with one of them, but I prefer Kevin Durant. He has a history of doing this. We know what he can do. I
but
just
1B can be Sengun.
1B can absolutely have a shot.
Regulation, I said, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I didn't like the action either. You had Kevin Durant on the far side of the floor.
Yeah.
He should have been closer to the sideline to be able to receive the ball. I didn't like the action. So it ended up selling to where Sengun takes a tough fadeaway jumper.
And I think the thought was Caruso was guarding him maybe, so it's just throw it to him and let him do a little bit. But there was 2 or 3 seconds left. It felt like a forced shot. Like I think you got to get something cleaner out of it.
Yeah, it also was low clock.
Yeah. But is there, so look, this is going to start, right? We spent the last, couple seasons talking about whose team is this, Sengun or Green, who's going to get the money. Everybody got money. Obviously, KD's a different story altogether, but there is a world where he could be the star on this team, despite the fact that KD's on it, right?
1,000%.
Yeah, absolutely.
1,000%.
He's good enough to be that. Yes, absolutely.
And I think he's the guy that made Houston appealing to Kevin Durant to want to go there and want to go play. I think he's that guy that KD wanted to link up with because he knows what his potential is. And so again, whose team is it? We can make that argument. But this is a great case study. This is a great case study for LeBron James. Like if you're an older guy going to a team like this, what is the ceiling for you to be a second option or a third option to a younger star that's up and coming? And so again, this is game 1. We're not going to overreact to it, but Kevin Durant has to be the 1A until we figure this thing out. But if not, Sengun is also can be the guy, and that won't be a problem as well.
And I'll tell you, if you haven't heard of him, you're going to hear a lot about him this year. He is an absolute stud. He is an all-NBA type player. He is an all-star. No matter if that's, Houston gets 1, 2, or 3, he's going to be an all-star. He's going to be that guy. He's going to put up gaudy numbers like this. And it's crazy. He showed us a little bit of everything. He showed us some finesse. He showed us bully ball. He showed us his outside shot. He reminded me of so many different bigs I've watched in the past.
Man.
That's kind of awesome.
He reminded me of like DeMarcus Cousins and Dirk in this, like in the same possession. I'm like, this is wild. This guy has it all. He's an absolute stud.
I also, again, I listened to a lot of preseason interviews and whatnot. He was one of the best ones too because he's so excited to have Kevin Durant. Yeah. Like he's just so thrilled that this is how things have ended up. Reed Shepherd, Chandler, your guy. I go to you for all things Reed Shepherd from here on out. He got a lot of moments. He also was hunted a little bit out there. What'd you make?
I think that was the glaring issue. Obviously, defensively, when you have such a good defensive team, you don't want to be the weakness, right? And I feel like the moment he checked in, it didn't matter who it was. Cason Wallace, Lou Dort, SGA, we are going to go and we're going to attack him. We're going to force him basically to play zone. We're going to force him to switch. We're going to bring him into every pick and roll and try and get that matchup that we like. That being said, I think collectively the team's got to play better help defense. You got to protect a guy like that. But he's got to be better. Offensively, I think he was forcing a little bit. He took some kind of wild shots for a second-year guy, honestly, that didn't get much opportunity last year. But he played 27 minutes. He's going to get more opportunity. I think he's going to continue to grow in this offense because he is their only true setup real point guard right now that Boogie alluded to. Or if they need that setup guy, it's not just going to be Thompson using athleticism going downhill. It's going to have to be a Reed Shepherd in the half court that sets up, this dynamic offense. So I think it was a solid debut. It could have been a lot better. He could have cleaned up some stuff, but defensively they got to find a way to get him better.
I also think, obviously with Reed, he's a young up-and-coming star in this league. I think he has a bright future ahead of him. But it's not just a Reed, Shepherd problem. I think something that these young guys have to realize. As I was watching the game, like even with Tari Eason, there was a lot of over-dribbling. There was some situations where it should have been catch and shoot, and if you didn't have the catch and shoot, it should have been a swing action, running straight into the next action and create movement. So it was a few stagnant plays throughout the game where it was just young mistakes, not really understanding the flow of the game, not really understanding how to get the ball to the proper players that you need in those possessions. So
but all
it's just
things
young
that
mistakes.
can learn, right?
It's
Like
just young mistakes,
okay.
and that's expected from this young team. But very, very much fixable problems.
All right, Lou, we knew the defense on this Houston team was going to be something. How scary is it really?
I got to be honest, any team that plays a zone, that's probably the least scary defense.
They're hiding something.
They're hiding something. You know, I had a coach tell me if a team can't guard you man-to-man, they probably still can't guard you in the zone. And that's why teams go to a zone. But again, with so much size that the Houston Rockets have, I'm Ime Udoka. I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to see how this looks. I'm going to see, can we be disruptive in that zone? And I thought OKC shot them out of it. I know they tried to junk the game up a little bit, trying to get the ball out of SGA's hands and just trying to make somebody else beat you. That works. Early in the season, first game, I wouldn't have shown my cards that early with some of these different things that he was trying to experiment with. But again, they gotta get out there and just be disruptive in the passing lanes and guard man-to-man and sit down and put pressure on teams up the court and use your length and make them finish at the rim. Force them to finish in some of that traffic and some of that size, opposed to sitting in the zone, especially when you got a team full of three-point shooters and guys that can knock it down.
Yeah, I think it's a gift and a curse because they are so versatile. They're long, but they also, like, Sengun's not going to be all defensive, right? It's his strength. Clearly, Reed Shepherd's got things to work on the defensive end, but then you have 9 other guys that are elite, athletic, switching, potentially guys that can, you can mix it up. So I think it's a luxury to have to be able to go to this. Like Lou said, like when I'd play, I remember I played like Syracuse, like this known college zone, like, I feel like it's because they can't defend. It's because they can't stop you, so they go to a zone. Like they try and switch things up. So it is a little concerning, but also when you have a new team like this, a young team, you're just trying to try stuff out early in the season that can maybe help you later down the year. But it's a nice luxury to have, but I'd rather just see them play more man-to-man.
I think Houston defense actually improves later on in the season anyway.
Absolutely.
You still have a veteran wing in Dorian Finney-Smith on the sidelines that's dealing with injury, who's going to be a huge help for this team moving forward. And also, when it comes to Sengun, obviously he's not the shot blocker that you would like him to be with being your big man, but he plays the game with a lot of IQ, so he can definitely crowd the paint. He can be a charge-taking guy, lead the league in charges taken. Like, those are great defensive plays for a big. It doesn't always have to, even being in the zone. It doesn't always have to be, the big throwing the shot to the third row of the crowd. Like, it's other ways of being a defensive pest as a big man besides blocking shots, and I think Sengun has all the intangibles to do that.
All right, we are going to take a quick break for his first appearance of the season. George Niang is back.
Wagon.
We'll talk to him next.
Jared Dudley.
Cheers. Let the roast begin.
Woo!
Jared.
Run it back.
We never quit, we never fail, we never run.
George Niang nails the three.
We never quit.
Niang fired. He's got another.
Oh, a familiar face to get things started. It's George Niang, who plays now for the Checks Notes Utah Jazz. Got to make sure I get that right. Okay, buddy, you were Celtics for a month. You're from there. I'm sure it was very exciting to think that could have been a thing. What were the emotions involved, thinking you'd like to stay there?
Yeah, thoughts get you in trouble. So,
were you excited to be in Boston?
No, I'm happy to be in Utah. I like who likes me.
Oh my God, that's
The Wi-Fi in Utah sucks. I'll tell you that off rip.
okay. That's actually kind of fun. Yeah, look, we'll get to the Utah stuff. I just like to understand the logistics. Were you in Boston long enough to get like a jersey and enough? Like, do you keep that?
No, I don't even think I got that. I think I got some practice gear, a practice loop. But it's all, I mean, we know what we signed up for.
Yeah.
Georgie, seriously though, like, break down your summer for us. You go from Atlanta to Boston to Utah. Did you ever imagine when you left us in June that you would be, back playing for the Jazz? It's got to have been a roller coaster you were on.
It's been crazy, but to say the least, Ryan Smith, who you obviously know, Chandler, has done an amazing job of, putting a lot of investment into this organization. I mean, we just started to open a practice facility, brand new renovations. it's going to be pretty sweet. So it's been awesome. It's been a whirlwind, kind of not knowing where I was going to be during the summer, but I'm happy to be somewhere where I've been before.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. You've already had a tenure there, and now you're back. What's been the difference between then and now in the organization? What differences have you noticed?
I think obviously, when I was here the first time, I was kind of the young piece and kind of just figuring out where I could fit in and kind of create a niche for myself. And, now it's more or less, how can we grow these young guys and help them get to a point where the Jazz were, competing at a high level in the playoffs, #1 seed in the West. So obviously it's a different feel. But I think, Ryan Smith, Danny Ainge, Austin Ainge, and Will Hardy have this place heading in the right direction.
Gee, I want to talk about the Media Day photos. I took some interesting ones myself when I was playing. But can we take a look here at the Media Day photo? What we got going on? What we got going on here?
Noise.
That
was triple threat.
That was when you had a bad knee in the summer and I drive by you. That's the that was it.
George, you got to tell the photographer no. Just tell him no. No, I'm not doing it.
Those were the worst
It took me to get late in my career to have the heart to say, no, I'm not doing that. What else you got?
Lou, you think about what I went through this summer, I was just like, take the photo.
That is awesome. Do they tell you specifically, like, poses? I mean,
Yes, they do.
Oh, it's brutal.
Like, they literally say, like...
It's the worst poses of all time.
Yes.
It's like a photographer that, like, hasn't played basketball and wants you to, hey, do this. This looks cool. And you're like...
That is awesome.
It's horrific.
Put the ball
By the way,
on
we
your
have our
shoulder.
pictures today, and now I'm like...
We do have our team photo shoot today, so I'm gonna hit you with one of those. Gee, this summer you also worked out with Luka. Like, how was that? Did you? Obviously, there's a big story how he shedded weight. You look like you're in great shape. Seeing photos of you, obviously. Was it taking stuff from his game, taking stuff from his his work ethic, his diet? Like, tell us about training with him this summer.
He looks phenomenal, huh? You watched the game last night. He looks like he's ready to carry a whole organization. I mean, watching him get out there and score 30+ points, that was extremely impressive. Chandler, I worked out with Luka Garza, not Luka Doncic.
Yeah, that's my fault. Misread.
Yeah, so I tried to save you on that one, but
it looked like you trained with him.
Yeah.
Close enough. I mean, it's close enough. How many guys named Luka could really be... Well, that was interesting. In the world, look, Jazz are, weirdly enough, the Lakers' final home game this season. For about a half a second, a bunch of suckers in the world thought LeBron James was actually going to retire. But, as a player on a team that could potentially have seen his last game, do you even care? Did that even register in your brain?
I'm just taking it one day at a time, Beads.
Oh, good. Cliches. We've reached that point in the interview.
That
Possession
was crazy.
by possession.
The whole announcement thing really threw me off. I thought maybe it could be a possibility. And then what was the drink?
Hennessy.
I was thrown off. But that was good PR stuff. Maybe I should get on that. The announcement of George.
Boogie bought a bottle.
Boogie fell.
Had to. I support the movement.
Boogie, you haven't asked me a question.
Hey, I'm about to now, brother.
Here we go.
About to now, man. What's up, G? Good to see you, man. But nah, your new teammate, Ace Bailey, he has the world excited right now. Crazy ceiling. Tell me what you think about the young fella, and is there any players that he reminds you of?
He's really talented. He's super special. I was thinking of a comparison that I could come up with, but I don't want to have my foot in my mouth, being a highlight reel of saying something off the wall. But he's super talented, and I've never seen a kid that is more excited to be here, right? There's been plenty of times where, we're in the locker room and he's like, man, it's a blessing to be in the NBA. And it's unfortunate, the narrative that somehow was created about him, because he's such a great kid. He loves to play basketball, and I think he's shown his abilities as a basketball player, but I've been more impressed of how he carries himself and who he is as a person. The sky's the limit for that kid. He's going to continue to show up. He's in the gym constantly, and he's definitely going to be a bright spot of this season. And I think early on people tried to, write him off, but he's everything that he's projected to be. He's super talented.
Yeah, so all that draft stuff, the not wanting to go to Utah, that stuff, that never gets brought up. That was just kind of just in the past and just all BS, really.
Yeah, I feel like you never heard him really address the media.
Yeah.
He never really had a chance to.
Right.
And that's kind of how the world we live in. Like, he's such a great kid. He's happy to be here. He's happy to play basketball. I think you could place the kid on top of Mount Everest to give him a basketball and a hoop, and he'd be out there by himself like every kid grew up, working on his one dribble pull-up or step-back three. That's just how Ace is. He loves the game of basketball.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Makes sense. Also, G, when you played Houston a few weeks ago, there was this viral clip, right, where KD's kind of barking at the bench. He's telling someone to sit your ass down. Was he talking to Ace? Because I saw Ace.
No,
Ace had a great game during this. He went off. Can you kind of explain what was going on here?
So Isaiah Collier stood up and said, "You know that's not a foul." And then Kevin was like, "You know, you're new here. You ain't been here long enough."
Yeah, you're new here.
There you go. There's clarity.
I like
we
that.
could clear the air on that.
Yeah, clear the air.
I like clearing the air on trash
confusion.
talk. Well, because here's the thing. We're just sitting at home on our couches trying to read lips on everything that's being said in these moments. And we got one here with Quentin Grimes and you. This is from last season. Trying to read the lips on what's going on here. It appears as though perhaps you're telling him that if Joel or Maxey were playing, he'd be in the corner.
Which is fair.
Like, yeah,
I like
I
that.
think that's fine,
I like
right?
that one.
I don't know who that is. What jersey's that?
Yeah, I know, it's really hard to tell. I mean, you're up big in the game. Like, go on. What? You are talking a lot, George. What is going on?
Yeah, I mean, it was, I don't
Take your
think.
ass to the corner. Is what I said.
As my welcome to the league moment, Boogie was on the Warriors, and I ran to the corner, and he was like, "You fat ass, don't you ever do that again." Nobody got that on Twitter.
Boogie.
So good.
I don't recall.
Are you sure?
I don't recall.
That is
I don't
awesome
recall.
that you
Hope
remember
all
that.
is well, G.
Can't confirm or deny these allegations against me.
Okay, what is the meanest thing? Because that doesn't, I mean, look, it could get a lot meaner. What's the meanest thing either you've said or you've heard?
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't think that's okay for FanDuel.
Can you clean it up and give us the gist? Because I am curious. Like, are there personal things ever said, or is it only basketball related?
It can get personal.
I think it's a gentleman's league. It's a gentleman's league, so I think they try and keep the personal stuff out of it, but sometimes that line is crossed.
Absolutely.
And I'm not the one to tell what I've seen or heard. So
You guys have such a code.
George, I want to ask you, man, a lot has changed since the last time we spoke last year. And this time last year, you tweeted that Darius Garland was the best point guard in the world. And since they've removed you from the group chat, how do you? What's your stance on the best point guard in the world right now?
Have the rankings shifted?
What's changed in the rankings now?
Lou's starting.
Lou, I did go back and do some research. It may have changed. A little bit. It may have changed. It was with Trae Young at one point, and I was thinking Peyton Pritchard. Yep, Keontae George, number one.
George.
These things change. Got it. These things change from time to time. And,
They do, Rankings change just like in college. I mean, it's.
Speaking of point guards, man, I know your Ohio State brother, Tyrese Halliburton. You guys spent some time over the summer, and he's dealing with his Achilles injury. Have you guys been able to speak? How is he dealing with his recovery and everything going on with that?
Yeah, I think he's been great. He's been attacking it, every single day. I think it's a unique situation, right? When you've kind of been ruled out of playing and you kind of have to wait a whole year to get out there. But he's in high spirits. I know that obviously it was unfortunate how things ended, but he wouldn't have done it any other way, right? I don't think that kid, you could have held that kid out of Game 7. And, if you watch Starting 5 on Netflix, free pub right here, you could see the whole story right there. But he's doing awesome. I'm excited to see him when he gets back next
Earned our respect for sure.
Oh, my God, I loved it. I was so bummed. George, great to see you. Great to talk. We'll chat soon.
Good luck, G.
Have fun.
Stay
Good luck.
healthy.
Great season,
Stay
brother.
healthy.
Good. Later.
Western Conference talk when we come back.
Run it up, run it back.
All right, the late game last night, we got to talk a little bit about Warriors-Lakers. Big win for Golden State, 119-109. Curry with 23. Jimmy with 31. Kuminga had 17 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. We'll get to that. Luka with his 43. Luka. They looked like a team that's played together quite a bit. People got their open looks. They seemed really gelling. I'm wondering, though, do you think it was like a quiet night by the standards of one Stephen Curry, Lou?
Yeah, it was a quiet night, but I think that's the reason why this team is built the way that it's built. You know, we talked about how old this team was, but what we forgot to mention is all of these older guys are high IQ basketball players. They know how to play the game. They approach the game very intentional. They know what they're trying to get out of it. They know how to manipulate scenarios to go in their favor. So even on nights that Stephen Curry, only on 14 attempts, is having a slow night that we would call it, you got a guy like Jimmy Butler that's going to stand in the gap of that and get you over the hump. I think Al Horford made a pretty decent debut in his return. Buddy Hield played well. Draymond Green was Draymond Green. He was the anchor on the offense and the defensive end, making sure those guys were getting looks. And so when you have that type of team, it's going to give you an opportunity to win a lot of basketball games. So I thought they looked good last night.
Yeah, there wasn't like that kind of first date feel-out process for the Warriors. Like, this looked like a team that had played together before. They had the chemistry, they had the continuity. It's the same kind of offense, same structure that they've had for years. And when their offense gets going, man, it is something to watch. It's beautiful. It's constant movement. It's coming off screens. It's whoever's got a good shot. So the guy next to me has a better shot and swing, we're going to give it to him. And they have guys that know their role. Buddy Hield, he knows his role. Pods knows his role. When Steph was struggling earlier, it was a heavy dose of Jimmy Butler to get them kind of going early, and he was aggressive with 31, 5, and 4. That's exactly what we need to see. And again, their negative is their age. Can they stay healthy? But that also, like Lou said, that could be a good thing. That could be, they know how to play basketball. They play smart. They know angles. They know that they are an experienced group that knows how to win, and they're well coached. So they looked really good. They looked really, really good last night. Kuminga, I'm happy for him. Yeah. Everything he went for last year, all that, he gets a little payday. Even the rumors this summer, he didn't go to the camps, he still, whatever. He played like a professional last night, and he played really, really good, and he showed why he got that contract.
Couldn't agree more. Obviously, you know what Steph brings to the game. He's done it time and time again. Same goes with Jimmy, but the guy that stood out the most for me was Kuminga, the young fella. Like you said, he went through a lot this past summer, just trying to figure out his future, negotiating his deal, and he came out and he played, man. He was the bright spot for me on the floor last night, hitting the corner threes, the way he cut to the basket, just moving without the ball, doing all the small things, even him defensively. It was a couple soft calls on the defensive end, but he just kept played with a smile on his face, and he competed. So I loved everything about it. He guarded the best player on the floor for most of the night. So it was a great showing for the young fella. So
you wouldn't be Boogie if you didn't find a way to jab a referee.
Yeah, it's a love-hate. Hate.
Is it a love-hate? Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like there's got
some
hate.
What they do, too, is they all just know they're like the rookie from Florida last, Will Richard. He comes in the game last night. He just plays hard. Quentin Post last year had some success. Like, they just find these guys to plug and play within their system, and it just works.
Yeah, Kuminga was 4 of 6 from 3, tied his career high in that category. Look, here's the thing, Chandler. I don't want to get. I feel like Charlie Brown with the football and all that. I was like, okay, we got to see Kuminga. Everybody got to see he can be really great. He was the second most important guy on the team last night. Blah blah blah. And then 3 games from now, all of a sudden, he's going to be on the bench again. Like, how do we sort of temper what's about to happen?
I just think more games like this kind of it results in more trust from Steve Kerr. I think this is a great confidence boost to show that he's bought in. He can play within the system. Little things has always been his issue. It's remembering plays. It's taking good shots. It's taking care of the ball. It's never been anything about talent or he always plays hard. He's super athletic. So I think it's been more of a fit situation with him and just kind of knowing the playbook, knowing the sets, knowing when to find Steph, knowing when to set the screen, when to slip. Those are all stuff I think he struggled with early, but as the season will go on, I think he'll continue to get better. These guys are a great vet group that can make the game easier for him as well. And like we talked about yesterday, he's kind of the guy going forward. He is that all-star level player post Draymond, post Steph, like post these guys. So this is a great kind of nurturing process for him to continue to develop and kind of take over this young core, because this team's not going to be together forever. But I think this was a great night one. It's a great start to kind of put last year to bed, and hopefully he continues to gain more trust from Kerr and continues to, further his role.
You spoke on it right there, just gaining trust from Kerr. I think that's that should be his #1 goal this season, and I think everything else will fall into place. I think that's the riff in the room, just getting on the same page with Kerr, gaining his trust every night, going out and show that you can be a consistent player on both ends of the floor, playing the flow of the game, get the stars the ball when you need to, and make shots when you need to. And I think he did a great job of that last night. Now he just has to continue to do that, and I think he'll be a vital part of this team.
I do want to go back to one specific aspect of what Jimmy Butler did last night. He was 16 of 16 from the free throw line. We get to bring up the word downhill again. But on a night when we also had SGA in that first game, Lou, the value of having a guy that can do what Jimmy does, get downhill, draw those fouls, like how big is that for a team? Hey, I nailed it.
No, it's huge because it just gives you a chance, even if your offense is struggling or even when your best player is struggling, you have a guy that can put points on the board without even working hard. You can give him the ball in that mid post or at the free throw line extended, and he's going to use his body, he's going to use his physicality. Like right here, he knows Gabe Vincent can't get up with him right there. He's going to be a spot shooter. That hasn't been one of his strengths, but that looked like something that he's worked on. But we right back in the post, though. We right back right back to where we started with Gabe Vincent, constantly putting pressure on that rim. And it's tough, especially if a guy can score 5 to 8 feet away from the basket, get layups and get dunks. Any team that's guarding you from that close to the rim is going to be a problem. And Jimmy Butler has done that more consistently than anybody that we've seen in a long time.
And I've said that before when they added Jimmy to the team last year. I spoke on how it was similar to the Kevin Durant situation as far as having that mid-range threat. Jimmy brings that to the team. Obviously, he's not the same level of an offensive threat as Kevin Durant, but he still brings that dynamic to them as far as having a mid-range threat and also having a guy that can get you to the line, get teams in foul trouble. And he went to the line 16 times last night, so that's going to be a huge help for them throughout the stretch of the season.
Yeah. And free throw shooting keeps you steady. So if you got a guy that can consistently get you free throws, especially over 10 attempts in a game, that's going to steady your offense. That's going to keep you at least competitive, even on nights that you're probably struggling on the offensive end.
Gotta talk a little Luka here on the Lakers side of things. He brought some magic. Oh, geez, he almost had a 40-point triple-double on night one. He is, by the way, the first player in history to record a 40-point double-double on opening night and lose by double digits. There's a stat somebody had to dig up. But as far as what they have right now around him, Chandler, like, we don't know. Look, I know they say LeBron mid-November, but it's sciatica, so technically there is no real deadline to sciatica. So what do they have around him? Is it enough?
No, it's not, and I don't want to be the bearer of bad news here. It's one game, but it's just not. And watching this team, there's glaring issues with just offensive production outside of Luka and Austin Reeves, who kind of struggled early and was inconsistent a little bit early and ended up with a nice stat line. Besides those two guys, where do they get their offense from outside of those two? And if you're telling me LeBron James at 41 years old is the light at the end of the tunnel and this is the savior that's coming in 15 games, I don't know if that's going to move the needle for them, especially how good the Western Conference is. You look at all these teams kind of similar with the Clippers, the Rockets, the Nuggets. There's too many good teams for the Lakers, I think, to be able to compete with this offense now. And I was hoping it'd be a Gabe Vincent, who had a great preseason. I thought he was going to come in and be aggressive. Marcus Smart, Rui, and DeAndre Ayton. It just didn't seem like they had that rhythm offensively. And when Reeves went out with foul trouble and Luka had to come out for games, they had no flow. They had no rhythm on offense. So, again, I don't want to panic. It's one game. They're going to make some adjustments, but it is just a heavy dose of those two guards right now, and hopefully they can, tread water till LeBron's back. But again, I don't think it's enough still.
I mean, I think it was a great showing from Luka, obviously, with the huge stat line. I think Austin Reeves did his job, but for me, the guy that slacked up last night was Ayton. And I said it in the previous show, this is a make-or-break year for you. And 10-4 just isn't enough. I need more tenacity. I need more aggressiveness. I need some meanness. Like show your presence on the floor.
Is he a guy, though, I can give the ball to on the block?
No, we don't. We're not looking for you to be Joel Embiid or Jokic. We need you to be the force that you are. We need you to be a force on the boards. We need you to be a force on the defensive end. And we just need your presence shown every possession. It's a lot of possessions where he just disappears. And that's not a realistic thing with you being the biggest player on the floor. That shouldn't happen. So with that being said, I need more tenacity from the big fella. And I think that changes the whole trajectory of this Lakers season. He has to pick it up. If it's being the best offensive rebounder in the league, if it's leading the league in shots blocked, Defensive rebounding. I need something. You need to be some type of a presence in the paint. We don't need you to go down shooting fadeaway jumpers, jump hooks, any of that. We need you to be a force on the boards, in the paint, and on the defensive end. That's it. That's your job. Go watch the old film of JaVale McGee. Go watch the old film of Dwight Howard and see how those guys contributed to winning basketball. That's what we need from you this season.
Yeah, and Luka was great, right? And
Sure.
and he's going to do that every night, and it's still not enough. The three glaring stats for me: 61% from the free throw line is atrocious.
Love that, no.
20 turnovers, and then 6 fast break points. This is a team that they got to get stops and they got to go, man. Like they're going to if they get in the half court, they're just going to bog the defense down. They're going to trap Luka. They're going to blitz him. They're going to have to find Ayton like on the low pocket pass, and then I don't know what's going to happen. So, I think they have to play fast. 6 fast break points. You got to take care of the ball and make your damn free throws.
61 is that's a bizarre number for free throws. Austin Reeves, I love grades just because it kind of boils it down and makes it simple. Lou, as far as Austin Reeves is concerned, the slow start, figured some stuff out. What's the next level for him? What do we need to see from Austin Reeves to know that it's evolving?
Just got to be consistent. I think he's on his way to being consistent, but he's gonna have to be the guy that's gonna have to create off the dribble. He's gonna have to be the person that alleviates pressure from Luka. He can't wait and really wait for the game to come to him. If I'm JJ Redick, I'm putting emphasis on when JJ Redick played. When he was with the Clippers, he almost got every first shot of the game. It was Doc Rivers' job.
The first 4 shots, 5 shots.
To get him going, and that was going to set the table for everybody else. So now, him being the head coach, if I'm him, I'm making sure Austin Reeves is involved in this game early and often to alleviate some of the pressure that's going to be on Luka, especially until LeBron gets back. Because they need more guys that's going to be able to create off the dribble that doesn't necessarily have to wait for somebody to make a play for them. They need more creators, and I think Austin Reeves can be that. I think that can be the next step in his game, but it has to be early and often. I think that's going to be a J.J. Redick conversation.
And I'll tell you that it didn't look pretty all night, but if you tell me he's going to be around 26, 9, and 5, shooting 55% from the field, we'll take that all day long.
It is going to be an interesting watch. LeBron obviously sitting there watching everything, and it is only one game. But we know he's going to have an opinion on it. So if you're LeBron last night, Boogie, what are you thinking? Are you happy with what's happening so far?
If I'm LeBron, I don't really know how you approach it if you're LeBron. And I was a bit, confused with, some of the camera shots of, seeing LeBron throughout the game and just his reaction in general to certain plays throughout the game. I was a bit confused.
What do you mean? Why?
He didn't seem happy.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was
he
irritated.
Wasn't stoked what he was watching.
Yeah, but it was some nice plays throughout the game, and just LeBron of the past. You've seen this guy jumping up and down on the sideline.
So he got a bad nerve right now.
That's true, but
he got to stay put.
Optics-wise, it didn't look great.
He got to stay put.
I've just seen more support for LeBron when it comes to his teammates in the past, and last night it just seemed like he was irritated. So
this is gonna be fun.
I'm not really sure how to, and I could just, I could be reading it wrong, which could be the case. But I think it's a case where you can see a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's a lot of.
No big deal.
It's a candle.
Yeah,
there's a candle down there.
Yeah.
81 more games.
All right, quick break. We'll be back. Good, it's gonna be fun, isn't it?
For some.
A lot of games tonight. Cavs and Knicks is the big starter. Load management from Mitchell Robinson, guys. Thoughts?
Say what the injury is. This just makes Mitchell Robinson look ridiculous, and it's not his call. I hate load management on opening night.
Hey, I didn't make it up.
Just say he's got a sprained ankle or something.
You heard it here first. And Wemby time starts.
Debut.
Sure. But Wemby time starts tonight. We'll be back tomorrow.
Get to see Cats roll.